Welcome to Quirky Queen's Journals. My name's Kirsten. So I'm here today to tell you about my first 2 weeks at art school. Well, college, but we're calling it art school because that's what people across the world call it. So we've done a lot. Monday is our drawing day. Tuesday is our project day. And Thursday is our sort of theory and going to visit exhibitions and museums, etc. day. So one thing we had to do was a summer project, but I applied late, so mine's is just finished now. I have a video on these journals. I made a big giant one, but I also made 10 little ones. So we had to basically, it was just what we did during the summer. So I called this Summer Gurners. We went to the Coyote Ugly pub in Liverpool, and it's just people, my grandson, me, pulling faces, and look at the state of me. I bought a stripy cardigan because it was cold and I looked like Where's Wally. But the winner is my grandson Cole, because look at that face. He's won and he pulled a face like that. This is quite a funny book, really, although I do talk a bit about the fire in it. I've just used a lot of alcohol markers, Posca markers, kids paint sticks, highlighter, just basically to make it as full and busy and colourful as possible. This is just my feelings towards the insurance companies about the, getting my parents' house fixed after the fire. Basically, the owners and the politicians are having to do all the campaigning and the insurance companies do very little, which isn't right. So I think I might have shown you that before I put my name in. So we went to a watercolour workshop in Paisley. They run lots of workshops. They're 4 hours and they're free. So I took my man along, and ignore this bit here, that's the pen's gone through. But he did this and I was quite jealous, to be fair, because I think that he's got a lot of repeating patterns in here, and he's done it without kind of realising. So that's the first artwork he's done in years and years and years. I did a wee watercolour of him. Stu in watercolour. He is a beautiful ginger man, but I thought I'm not that nice to him normally, so I changed it to he is an acceptable ginger man. We are getting married in a couple of weeks, 2 weeks on Friday. That is my daughter Rachel and my grandson Cade, and they literally are besties. That's just a clothing tag. And Kelburn Country Park has a big fairy forest, and it's amazing. It's got all little huts and stuff to explore, and it's all based on fairy tales, but it's slightly sinister, but it's still child friendly. But it's like Hansel and Gretel, those type of fairy stories. So Kate made a zine. I made him one of these meandering books. We called it a zine. That's him talking about Rachel. And I just stuck it in because I figured his artwork was more than good enough for art school. I love this. There's something in their minds, isn't there, at that age that just is amazing. So there's a local artist, Dougie McKechnie, and he went to art school, was an art teacher, and I met him at the very first exhibition I'd put on, and he was just so encouraging. He loved my style, all the rest of it. He gave me, he really talked away to me about it. Anyway, this picture here he made in 1978, and I think it's just little bits out of, like notebooks and stuff. His stuff was very, underpriced, but he is prolific, so I understand, you know, it's nice to know that somebody wants your art enough to pay for it, even if they've underpaid, if you like. But I loved this. So he made that in 1978, so I purchased that. Big art show. So you've seen these. That's my talking about all the people that are supposed to be sorting out my mum and dad's house after the fire that still haven't. And that's more the entries. And I told you I'd put my dad's photos in as well. You can't see them very well here. Oh, and there's me. You get free wine at these things. So, you know, I had a few top-ups and I got more and more excited. And that is who runs this big art show. It's like 1,000 pictures from everybody. It's not just Scotland. You know, there's far and wide. Anybody that wants to. I know in Largs, they're quite famous for the Vikings having invaded. So Largs is like the seaside town that we would go to. And that's my 2 grandsons. And I just called them 3 Largs Vikings. Now this is round about the college. Oops. Try to hide my cutting mat. It's covered in paint and glue. It looks terrible. So what I love about this is you can only see it here at the side, but there's this beautiful restaurant and it's a listed building, and then it's actually got graffiti on the walls, and this telephone box is covered in graffiti right next to it, and I love that extreme side by side. But just lots of interesting things. Now, I'm going to show my ignorance here, but it looks like Banksy, but I don't know if it is Banksy. But whoever did it, it's very good. And this is basically a drain cover, and look at the cracking on it. I just loved that. And then there was a car parked outside the college, and it's got anime all over it. Is it a wrap you call it? This is Nikita. She is into cosplay, she is into drama, she goes to Glasgow Acting Academy, she travels into the city 3 times a week for it. I mean, she is dedicated. So this is her as Sienna shot from The Terrifier. I don't know who that is, but she came second in a cosplay masquerade. I couldn't tell you who she is here, but she is wearing a jellyfish hat that she made here. Oh, this is Shyla, and this is my mum. She's 76, so she takes Shyla to agility competitions because that's what she's into, and she came 4th. She's got a nice rosette. But I like this picture because I like the triangular shapes that are in here, and obviously she looks quite powerful in that one. Just some more diddling about. I may or may not have shown you these. These are, so there was sculptures at the Burrell collection where I seen the Degas. I got student discount. How amazing is that? Anyway, so actually the sculptures were very good for drawing faces because they're carved into, and I don't know what it was, but it was like the main features were much easier to follow when I was drawing them. So I don't know who they are, I'm sorry. That is a, can't remember, is it a circus? Oh, sarcophagus. She's got an Egyptian look. And then that's a kind of 80s, like a Joker style that you see on the cards. But they were all sculptures carved in stone. This is the Printmakers Festival I told you about in the last video. And then we had a posh coffee and scone after the festival. It's posh because it was expensive, and this chain of restaurants are very, I don't know if you've heard of Duck Bay Marina in Loch Lomond, but it's that sort of chain. And then just some more doodling. Alcohol pens, obviously just give and give and give all through the pages. But you can see here, so this journal is basically just lots of book pages. Got an envelope in that one. So yeah, so this signature here that's completed was very similar to this signature. So it's quite amazing. I do like this page. Anyway, oops, that is glue dots. So what have we done? So, yes, I mean, we were straight in, there was no messing about. So what we did was we deconstructed clothes. So these are some of the artists we looked at, and I'm going to show you them. So we basically cut up like, I mean, it's very interesting. We cut up clothes like these. So, like that was a top, vest tops. This was a sort of transparent chiffon blouse. This was a cord jacket. I made myself some little people. So basically, I mean, we took off the cuffs, the waistband, kind of shredded it a bit with the scissors. I tied knots in it. So we got quite interesting stuff from it. So what I've done here is, I'll come back to this page because that was afterwards. So you can see here some of it. Still to put parts for that one. So here, what I've done is we've took sections of it. There's the label tags, so that makes a nice sort of stripe. And then there's more with the circle parts. So what they say is photograph your work all the time, so that you've always got the kind of where it came from and the progress. So what we did was, once we'd sort of deconstructed these clothes, was we dressed a mannequin. We did this in teams, and we were to be flamboyant. We were to, like a 3D sculpture. So we've got metal wire here going in a spiral. But when we photographed the mannequin, we put it against a wall with floodlights. So we got these shadows, lots of shadows. And then we looked at weight of line. Where it's darker and thicker, it's closer to you. And when it's further away, it's lighter and thinner. So this is one of the ones I did here. We did this with just black acrylic ink and a skewer. It works very well. I photographed it, printed it out, but then you can see there, this bit here from the original was a big A3 sheet like that, and I've, you know, cut it up because basically what I've done is I've pulled out this spiral. I think it's very interesting, this metal wire spiral, and we've done it in different ways. So this one here, we've put down blocks of colour. I'll show you on here. So we put down blocks of colour, and then what we've done is we've kind of done continuous lines on top of it, and then we've done mark making, you know, adding in smaller details in areas on top of that. So to me, these are all quite like the spiral. And then I actually took photographs. I had this hanging wire, so I've took photographs of it, and I had my little paper clips that I used as well. And I made some more, and I've took photographs of it. So, but I really like the shadow play, and I'll show you more of that. And then what I've done is I've just used words to describe this metal spiral and typology. I'm going to tell you about that. I love this. Right, so you know when you get a series of items, like, and then they're photographed. So Jim Golden, Barry Rosenthal, they are very well known for photographing. Look, in fact, I'll show you. That is Barry Rosenthal here. He does a lot of finding objects and then using them. can't remember this guy's name. I still need to write about him. But he takes more contemporary items and he goes very colourful and abstract in that more pop art Andy Warhol type way. And this is Karl Blossfeldt. He photographed extremely close-up images of like botanicals. This is out of an actual sort of promoting sustainability, and it's all different plastic bags. So I made some, and I thought, right, Bill, all living things are made up of DNA, which is made up of 4 amino acids. So I called that a typology of the living. And I had some stones and some beads and buttons, and I just put that together. Some of my pastels, paintbrushes, and this is my favourite one. Don't know if it does fit it. Basically, this is a shredded dog toy that was well enjoyed by the dogs, and I've made a little picture out of it. But I really like this, and I think a lot of that fits in with, you know, when we make our stencils and stuff for the gel plate. You know, I think this could be adapted for that. Went over this page, so this is more of me taking out, like that's the metal spirals. Another thing you want as well, which I haven't quite achieved here, but you want your sketchbook to be lively, where these are separate pages and you want them to be related, but you also want them to be different. Like here, I would say that I've achieved that here. They're all related, but each page it's more interesting to go back and forth between, instead of this one, which is very similar. But I'm going to be adding to it. We'll be using tracing paper and doing some more drawing in here. But it's a process, isn't it? And then here, I've just took out the U shapes. There was a lot of these kind of horseshoe shapes. And here, just a lot of circle shapes. And this is my more kind of line work, repeating lines. And then, so for the shadows as well, I love the shadows. Actually, I cut out and made lots of shadows. I'm going to actually make kind of more sculpture type things. I just think, especially this double shadow, I think it helps with that weight of line that they were talking about, because it's very clear. This is darker and thicker, and it's clearer. That one is much closer to us than that one. And then, so I'm in the architect and interior design group for the theory stuff, and what we're looking at is contemporary and historical. We're not doing modern, which is the kind of 1850s to 1970s. We're doing contemporary. This person actually won lots of awards in 2023, which is why I chose her. And we're doing pre-1850, and I'm going to do a Scottish architect called Robert Adam, that really brought a lot of European style into the wealthy person's home. A lot of pastel colours, a lot of sort of columns, and I'll tell you more when I've done them. Anyway, so yeah, this person, it was a 200-year-old ruin, and what they've done is they've built this house into it, but it's actually fully removable, so the ruin is protected for future generations. And they wanted us to look at the political, technological, social and ecological aspects, how that influenced the architect, but also how the architect was influenced by it. So obviously in today's world, sustainability, you know, protecting and respecting history is a big thing. And obviously as well, aesthetically, you know, you want something really stylish, but something that reduces the use of energy. So, and blends into its environment around it. So that is just about it. I'm just going to show you. I just absolutely love these three. I don't think it's quite what they were looking for. And then this is, we were in a group of 4 and we actually all contributed to this. We all had a sheet each and we just went round adding our own bits. Mine's is the more hard lines. What else? So next week we are going to local exhibitions, and what I need to do as well is, so this, the kind of typology, you know, the repeating, you know, photographing items that have got something in common. And I also now need to look at some fashion designers, really, but not fashion, it's more the flamboyant, it's like a sculpture around the body, that stuff. So that's what I've been up to for the last 2 weeks. It's just took me a long time to make a video because I actually hurt my back and I had to go to the, I had to go through the whole NHS 24, go to out of hours and then go to accident and emergency because I couldn't move. And I think it was just the effort that I, you know, because obviously I've been quite sedentary, living at home, you know, running my eBay shop and my YouTube channel. But now that I'm out at college, I'm carrying bags, I'm doing a lot of walking, I'm sitting in different seats, you know, that sort of thing. I think it's just, I need been a wee bit unhealthy that I'd done it. But it's a lot better now anyway. So hopefully I'll have one next weekend. And I do want to get on top of putting them out, because apart from anything else, I would have appreciated a sort of art school vlog when I was trying to learn art on YouTube. So there we go. Anyway, thoroughly recommend it if you're able to do it. I very much enjoyed it. So thank you very much for watching and take care. Bye.